Why would you make Zecora get that dumb moss for you, Miss Fluttershy? It would have been easier for you to do, because you can fly.
Private, what did I tell you about rhyming?
That rhyming is for poets and hippies, Sergeant.
Darn straight, so stop.
My Little Pony, Health of Information, is a neat little episode that never quite comes together. The story is kicked off when Zecora gets a strange disease called swamp fever. And this sickness is actually one of the most thematically dark things in the show proper. In its final stages, the victim turns into a tree that will then spread the disease even further.
Yes, they really could have done more with that idea.
I know, right? I was so sure that abandoned village in the swamp wasn't actually abandoned, if you know what I mean. But anyway, the race to find a cure for a strange illness is a great setup for an episode. The duo du jour is Twilight and Fluttershy, and that's a neat pairing, both in terms of personalities and in terms of what they can do. Fluttershy's guilt is the driving force behind her actions, and I like seeing her with initiative. She's balanced by Twilight, who's the voice of reason character, and she plays the role well. The only problem is Twi is maybe a little too cool. I know she's mainly arguing for a systematic approach and logical prioritizing of their objectives, but I wish Fluttershy would have commented on that, and maybe even questioned whether or not Twilight actually cares.
Or maybe Twilight would just be really excited to study a new disease. I know I always am.
On the more practical side of what the girls do, it's pretty disappointing, not even gonna lie. Fluttershy does all the book work, which there's a lot of, by the way, and when it comes time to bust out the druid stuff, she can't do it. And all the while, Twily's just,
"Hello? Look! Hey! Listen! Watch out!"
Granted, she does stuff off screen, but does that really count?
No.
Now let's move on to the comedy. Health of Information really shines here, thanks in large part to our leading ladies. Twilight is fantastic, especially when it comes to the reactions. Just look at this face. Likewise, Fluttershy has great reactions to things as well. Can we have two comic MVPs?
No, you have to pick.
But both are so fun and adorable.
Pick one.
Cattails. Damn, I take it back.
It's too late. You done picked.
But he only gets one funny line. Granted, that's pretty darn funny, but...
Too bad. Live with it.
Well, all the players turn in some decent jokes, including Spike and Dr. Carrot Top. Now I want to look at how the episode integrates a new piece of lore into the world of My Little Pony, and contrast that with Daring Done. In this episode, we learn about Mage Meadowbrook, a mysterious masked healer who traveled from town to town until vanishing into the mist of legend. We learn about this mostly from dialogue between characters telling each other things they already know. Whereas with Somnambula, neither Pinkie Pie or Rainbow Dash knew the story. Also, the hieroglyphics were a great way to make the flashback visually distinctive. I think the whole thing would have worked better if Fluttershy had no idea who Meadowbrook was. This would also have been a real contribution by Twilight, who's smart and does research.
Like a mouse!
Of course, the best way to explain stuff like that is to have set it up beforehand.
Like what? Just blame it on Old Man Star Swirl again?
No, but maybe they could have tied it into one of the villains or something. Anyway, now it's time to break down the good and the bad in My Little Pony, Health of Information. On the good side, swamp fever is potential nightmare fuel, all the players are funny, and the overall premise is really good. On the downside, the integration of new lore is clunky, and I feel they could have done more with the material. But I still enjoyed My Little Pony Health of Information, so I give it a 3.5 out of 5. Now if you're interested in more reviews of anime, movies, TV shows, comic books, or video games, check out my channel right here on YouTube, or find my Facebook and DeviantArt pages for video updates and more. Thank you for watching.
Hey kids, today's show is brought to you by the letter 4 and the number potato! I'm a stupid private.